let's get it. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, time once more and again to lift up your voice, elevate your mind, and be enlightened, entertained, and learn more about what you already know. It's the Real University right here on this social media platform. We about to give it to you live. This show is hot as Texas, and we coming at y'all with some wonderful discussion topics today. If you missed this particular broadcast for any reason, go back through your social media page. Use the middle of that thumb so you can find us faster. Hit us with some class, click like and share this particular page. Do what we do. It's your life coach, your uncle life coach, that is, Andy Brown. Follow me at @AndyBrown_speaks on social media. I come with it myself, and not only just me. Hey, look who's joining your boy right here, the one and only talented triad of entertainment, the fantastic Mia Ferguson. When Monday comes and she is here, what's going on, lady? How you do?
Bless your heart. You are just so amazing. You make me feel so good every single time you do an intro. I'm like, that man is amazing. Hey, Uncle.
We do what we do, man. We are absent from the classroom today, but that's okay. We still have some good information to share with y'all. Listen, social media page, if you logged in and you have not been hacked, hit us up on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. We are where we are, and we're going to be where we at all the time. We're going to be like, keep sweat up in this party. We're going to make it last forever. And speaking of ever, not everybody gets to stay in a long period, in a long place for a long particular time, right? Even at the highest level of our HBCUs, beloved campuses, because students are coming in, but it just so happens that somewhere on somebody's campus, presidents and faculty are going out. Oh, I think it's time to talk about it. Mia, light one up real quick and tell us what we're talking about today, if you don't mind. Shall you?
Oh, brother. So, you know how we do. We're scrolling. We're sending people information via DM, and I just happened to receive what I'm sure is not new to some folks, but it means a lot to me because it's definitely something I've been preaching. Our wonderful uncle, Mr. Roland Martin, he is always at the forefront of just sharing information. Is he not? Yes, he is. Yeah, and Uncle Roland shared a piece of information about what's going on at one of our HBCUs, FAMU to be specific. And I did a whole hallelujah praise Jesus dance, not because that's my alma mater, because it's not, but I am an HBCU alumni, and I have been saying this from a certain perspective for probably the last 4, 5, 10 years. Now, outside of the Real University as a professional, who does a lot of consulting, strategizing, scaling, internal support, creating standard operating procedures, and a very senior advisor in the HR space. About 3 years ago, I said someone needs to sit all these HBCU presidents down and give them an org chart. And within this org chart, we're not even talking about qualifications. Outline the structure of your team and what it takes to run this university. Yes. Inside that org chart, I want you to then highlight those who are qualified in their position. Agreed. And then I want you to draw a circle, because, before I did all this, I was a teacher. Draw a circle around the interim positions. 9 times out of 10, your interims outline your qualified. And who should be qualified is not qualified because they were hired by somebody who wasn't qualified to do a job that they weren't qualified for. So then when our wonderful president over at FAMU decided to let go of his leadership team, I said, well, about time, hallelujah, somebody made a change. Who's coming with them? Who's going to follow the lead? Who's going to make the decision that you have too many people? And let's be clear. They talk about how they don't get paid well, and I'm sure some positions don't. But some of those folks get paid very well to do jobs that they're not doing.
Right. Well, here's the true underlying issue is, why do I have to let the entire staff go all at the same time?
So, but again, I bet you money that the HR person is either interim, playing a dual role, okay? And to be honest with you, when the president says what they want to do, you really don't have a lot to stand on to say, oh, no, wait. Now, the board, which I do believe the board of trustees
Yes.
Did back him. And as the president, that's all that they need. All that he needs is for the board of trustees to back him. And at that point in time, it just has to happen. Now, would I have done it this way? Would I have done it at the beginning of a school year? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would not have done that. But the reality of it is that these places run in such dysfunction anyway, that whether it's at the beginning of the school year, at the middle of the school year, like I keep telling people when I sit down with them and I talk to them about how they run a business, you're going to keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, and it's never going to get done. At some point in time, it had to get done, and it got done.
It did have to get done. It got done, but like you said, the timing of it all speaks volumes.
It's up.
And I think that is a very, very critical part of why this is just so, I don't want to say fraudulent, but just the timing. It's just an awkward time. So actually, FAM is currently without a communications director, I believe.
What else are they without?
I think chief legal officer.
Okay, what else are they without?
I think the athletic director is gone as well.
Okay, and what else are they without?
Also, the government relations director is gone as well. Did not pass go. Did not collect $200. Just get your stuff and else on the campus.
And I mean, for those who want to make it a political thing, have fun with that, whatever. Our HBCUs have been struggling when it comes to qualified individuals for some time. Someone challenged me and said, okay, well, I mean, who are they going to get to replace them? There are tons of people who want to go from one form of education to secondary education, or I'm saying the collegiate level. There's qualified people out there. Mm-hmm. But what I hear from a lot of schools is, or people who've have applied for other schools is, well, you know, I applied for a job at such and such college, but you know, it's going to take them about 2 years to call me. Why is it going to take your HR department 2 years to call somebody?
But why? You just saw them at happy hour last weekend.
Why?
Did I say that out loud?
Yeah, you said, and as you should, because it's enough. I mean, I think that the internal guts determines how our kids are serviced. And we already have bad customer service.
Yeah.
And I think we do a pretty good job for the most part promoting our HBCUs because we love the experiences of what we went through and who we met. But do you ever hear anybody talking about how much they love the process they went through and how easy it was when it comes to these HBCUs?
Not only the process, but we've talked before on different subject matters about applying yourself, not only in the classroom, but outside of the classroom. So correct. I even look at, if we're looking at those who are finance majors, but we have people stealing money from the school, something don't really add up on that ticker, so to speak. And that is a true issue of poor money management, to where if I can't even balance the own checkbook of the school, why are you asking me to balance the checkbook and show these people how to really navigate their finances when it comes to somebody else's business?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I gotta hit the nail with that one, because that's a tough one to deal with.
It's a tough one to deal with. And I mean, if you take it further, you go through all of the different majors. I'm going to show somebody how to be a good operations director or director of operations, or COO, chief operating, whatever it is, when the institution in which they come from can't do it themselves. And I know that one thing technically doesn't have anything to do with the other, but it's the implication is there, and it's a thing that needs to be addressed that has not been addressed. So again, I could be talking from a whole nother layer about what and why the true reason. And again, I'm going to say, some people will say, I mean, well, it's a Florida school and it's this school and it's this and this and this and the politics of this, and they try to do this and they try to break this down. At the end of the day, find just one person who went to an HBCU that can say that their school is fully staffed. I think that they said the number of HBCUs right now that have interim presidents.
Yes.
is astounding. I don't remember the number. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I think it might be in the 20s, but that's a lot. And
That's a lot.
corporations do it all the time. They have people that come in, but the stability of it all, what is the reasoning? I mean, why can't we seem to understand that the head leads and the body follows?
Yes.
We've got to have somebody who understands what it looks like. So if he came in, sometimes you got to clean house. You got to clean house. And again,
the timing of it, beginning of the semester.
Honey, let me tell you something. Guess what happens? The beginning of the semester is in August. Then guess what's going to happen? We're going to have what's going to happen? We're going to have midterms that come. It's going to be the wrong time. We're going to have the holidays that's going to come. It's going to be the wrong time. It's going to have the spring break is going to come. It's going to be the wrong time. It's going to have graduation is going to come. It's going to be the wrong time. And then we have the summertime, which really they're not off because they're working. It's going to be the wrong time. So when is the right time? You got to do it. I have been in leadership. What'd you say?
I would let them go during the summer. That way, that transition back into the fall when more students are needing assistance.
Absolutely, and I guarantee you, 9 times. I wouldn't be surprised if 9 times out of 10 they had to wait for maybe the board of trustees to come back to vote on it. Who knows? So another thing we always see is that there is never a sync of scheduling with any of these things. So no one's ever on the schedule. I could talk over and over and over about this because I talk about it and I see it in businesses all the time. You have a calendar, but no one solidifies their calendar. And then everyone has to wait to get on the calendar. And by the time they get on the calendar's full, and then you got to wait again to make decisions. Sometimes the decision-making process takes longer than it should to get these things done. So unfortunately,
just back and forth.
Oh my gosh, what?
So this is according to, I think, the Guardian.com even gave this information. FAMU's recent trouble started after a quote unquote fraudulent and highly publicized $237 million donation to the university by a Texas hemp farmer.
Oh,
yeah, nice. Dare I say. The market is growing, folks. Pay attention. A Texas hemp farmer. But even in that, a nearly 200-page investigation into the donation released earlier, I believe earlier this month or late last month, found that the gift, if you will, which would have been transformative for the institution, was poorly vetted and rushed. So they really had to do something more toward the end of the year because it's really showing up at the beginning of this fall session.
Got you. I wouldn't be surprised if it's tied. But again, I will say that there are times in my old territory general manager director space, my old life, long time ago, I have come into spaces, into territories, and have gotten rid of all the GMs. I cleaned out a store when I was back to being a regular old employee and had no problem with it because
what says enough is enough. There has to be a change, and it has to be that could be a number of things. For me, in my opinion, what tends to be the one that says, okay, when the culture is toxic, and people move in a way that there is a very lackluster sense of commitment to what their jobs are. Let's just call a thing a thing. Okay. So people get real comfortable. It's kind of like that stigma that people have about state employees. LNS.
Right.
Lazy syndrome. Gotcha. Okay. Right.
So when you have that, what are you going to do? You're going to come in, you're going to retrain a culture that's been there for the last 20 years, 10, 15 years. You're going to retrain them. I mean, you go through your steps. I mean, you should. There's a lot of things you should go through. There should be some evaluation. There should be some employee evaluations. There should be some training. I believe I'm a huge advocate in training. But sometimes when you can't hit the nail on the head, and you start looking around and see what's going on, and you realize it, you say, you know what?
Clean sweep.
I got a clean house.
Yeah. That's
And
when it
listen,
starts to make
I've been
sense.
saying it I've been saying it for a long time. We need to get rid of all these congressmen. I think about all
Oh,
these congressmen,
he
a
said
lot of
that.
these absolutely. I'm saying it out loud. These congressmen, these state representatives who just get in there, get real comfortable, get real lazy, aren't doing their jobs. It's the same thing. School systems.
That part. The
And
overall
I'm talking
system.
about,
Yeah.
I know we're talking about this school system, but I mean like overall school systems. Like,
Overall, the whole, yeah.
some of these states, I'm trying to figure out exactly who are you for? You are not for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So
And your book
I
is
do believe,
outdated by the time you move to the next. I get it.
I
Yeah.
feel the same way about the Constitution. Somebody need to get up in there and rewrite some things. It's old, it's outdated.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we still following some of these rules that are in this document that was created before any of us were alive? Why?
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
It's the backbone and the foundation on which our country was founded.
Yeah, okay, we found a lot of things that we no longer do. Change it. It needs to be changed.
Change it.
Change it.
And that's
Change
exactly
good.
what they're looking to do with FAM. They're looking to do with Graham. They're looking to do with PV. They're looking to do with Paul Quinn. They're probably even looking to do that up at Central State in Ohio.
Nice. I applaud all of them because when I tell you, I went to an organization that I love so much and I said, listen, you're going to have all of these presidents together at one time. I said, please let me host the breakfast.
Oh, they're going to come to eat.
I said, just let me host the breakfast.
Yeah.
Have a real conversation with them. Nothing but love. I'm not walking in to accuse anyone. But sometimes you need to replace. Now, one thing I will do before I just fire everybody. Sometimes I'll do a little bit of replacing, right? Oh, you don't need to be over here. You need to be over here.
Oh.
Do a little bit of reorg. So a good reorg can be helpful too, because a lot of times you have people in places they just don't want to be and they don't excel, right? Mm-hmm. I'm a firm believer, and that's one thing I will definitely do when I come into a company. I'll say, so who is he? What does he do? Or what does she do? Or what does she perform well? Because you're complaining about her job performance, but it seems that she has a huge skill set over here. Are we utilizing that? Well, no, we don't need her for that. But you do need it, and you don't have anyone doing it, but you want her to do this. Maybe she needs to be over here. Like I'll do that all the time, but sometimes. And this wonderful example. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of this president. Again, I don't know. I could be talking with my foot in my mouth, and I don't know why the decision was made. But on the outside looking in, I need everybody else to take suit.
So here's a question I want to ask, and maybe those who are watching this at a later time can vibe in on this as well. When we're just talking about that, and I'm looking at the entire structure of not only a collegiate campus, but maybe a high school campus as well, right?
High school. Well, the high schools are a little different because high schools are regulated by that city or that county governance. Mm-hmm. So it's a little different. Usually there's a school board, and a lot of times you have to reorg the board because the board will allow things to happen. They're the ones who hire, depending on where you are, they're the ones who hire those principals, vice principal. Well, I think they hire the principal, and usually the principal is allowed to hire their own vice principal, depending. So it all depends. Mm-hmm. It all depends. But I think a lot of these systems, I'm going to say it again, need to be restructured.
How about, and this just kind of comes from off the cuff in a previous conversation, how about the opportunity for career coaching? Because maybe, just maybe, you're just not paying attention to what you're doing. You could be the wrong person for the right position. But maybe, just maybe, this ain't what you need to be doing right now. This ain't what you need to be doing totally. But if you knew how to manage your career, and if you knew how to manage, you want us to help guide these students to the right career path, yes? Make sure you got the right curriculum and you're taking these classes in order. So correct. You are a person of regard in this particular occupation, but we had to let everybody go. It may make sense, it may not make sense. I'm just throwing it out there because we got to really look at it's overall. The bottom line is, folks, we're looking to make sure that these students are going to be in a better position. And if you remove the staff at one clean sweep, I'm looking at the overall effect that this is doing on the student body. Because if I'm a freshman coming in on this new campus and I hear I'm talking up the team, I'm talking up the atmosphere, I'm talking up the scenery, which is all fine and dandy because, hey, on social media, We're always telling you who got the hype is homecoming. But are we really focused in on the teamwork and the staff that helped me get to where I need to go while my tenure was on this particular campus, my 3 years, my 4 years, my 5 years, isolated on this particular university and this institution to get me higher learning? Did I have the right people around me? And were they educated, trained, and coached to help me be the best person that I could be in this position?
You are so sweet. That's why you are our uncle. So this is my my take on that, and I'm going to come from an HR perspective. When you're hiring people in spaces such as senior leadership, if you're looking for a pilot, you can't go get a conductor. Pilot is skilled in flying a plane, and a conductor is skilled in moving a train, right? If you put the conductor in the front of a plane, how much training do you think that conductor is going to need to fly that plane?
It depends on he has no one to talk to with air traffic control, so he's pretty much on his own.
Not even air traffic control. He don't even know what button to push to even think about moving that plane, right? But he still has bodies in that plane. So I say that to say that when we're talking about senior leadership, we're not talking about an adjunct professor. We're not talking about somebody who came into this position straight out of teaching high school for 12, 15 years and decided they wanted to move into a different level of education. That's not who we're talking about. We're talking about people who enter a position, and I always say this, senior leadership, you hire them and they do their job. They might need a debrief on what's going on in the company, but even senior leadership knows how to enter that company and the questions to ask and whom to ask them. You don't have to train senior leadership on how to do their job. That's why they're called senior leadership. If they're not, if you do, then it's time to let them go because they don't know how to do the job. And that's what happens. I just think that even though people don't respect the level, human resources is so important. Human resources.
I can imagine. Yeah.
And people don't respect human resources. A lot of times they don't respect operations because operations cost a lot of money. Human resources cost a lot of money because you have people who are skilled to do the thing, right? But in these particular instances, you have to know what your org needs in order to hire the skilled people. But then you need to know what the skill set should look like. So if you are a person, like I've worked in a lot of different organizations, so I do have a vast knowledge of how a lot of organizations have to run. But let me pick an industry that I've never worked in.
Transportation.
No, I worked in transportation. I was a whole HR director for a transportation company. Hold on.
Medical billing.
Did that too. Give me a second. Hold up. I've done a lot. I'm not going to Jamaica. What haven't I done? I haven't been a librarian. So here we go. I don't know what it takes, the skill set it takes for someone to run a library entity. And I know that falls under, forgot which entity that falls under, but it falls under this entity, right?
Okay.
But I do know that they have to be qualified some kind of way. Most people who go into that industry, in that world, they usually come from a literary space, organization space, because libraries are organized. I'm just throwing some things out there. They come from different spaces. They have different skill sets.
Right.
I can't take Bubba from the tech shop and say, Bubba, get on in here behind this counter and run this library.
True.
That's what interim is, basically. And even if they hire somebody who has a little bit of qualification, they come in with their own understanding. They don't train them. They don't guide them. They don't have the general knowledge. And then you have, like in government agencies, you have other people who never got training, trying to train somebody else who needs training, and you go down the road. So what ends up happening? You have a whole bunch of misinformed individuals running the ship.
Oh, yeah. They're going to be like Usher trying to do it my way. I get it.
And imagine if you've been doing that for the last 20 years. And I'm just going to be very frank. My mother, when I was a little girl, I probably was like in nursery school worked in the public relations department for one of our wonderful HBCUs.
Okay.
The same things I overheard her saying back then, I said when I was little girl preschool, I'm 48 years old today, are the same issues I'm hearing now. So we're talking about almost 50 years.
Oh, that's not good.
That's not good.
No.
Some of this stuff should have been done.
All true. That's real.
That's real. So I mean, I know we
real.
usually come every once in a while, we'll talk about the things that are the real about the actual university level, because I know we talk to our parents, we talk to our kids, but some of these things, some of these dynamics, I don't think people even understand how it truly affects the experience for our kids at the university level. Like, they're dealing with the irritations that they have to deal with, but a lot of times it's because people who are ill-informed are giving information, and it just trickles up. I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm gonna stop because
it is. And I'm in thorough agreement with you. I just want to be able to help people really understand that it was a big picture, right? The director of government relations. You mentioned, I think, chief legal officer, like board of trustees, someone like that. These are high profile positions. Communications, even the VP and director of athletics, which is huge for any collegiate atmosphere, especially in the fall. So that is a trickle down effect that really touches the youth, the athletes, those who are choosing their major, right? Because you don't know what social media is saying in certain sectors, certain bots in certain locations, because we all communicate differently now.
Absolutely.
So we have to think about bigger picture, folks. When decisions like this are made, it had to be for the right reasons, and we want to see the growth and development, the what's next.
Absolutely.
What happens now?
Absolutely.
What do we expect to see? Because, hey, this was a major move, right?
Absolutely. Major.
And I think people don't understand the dynamic of it. Can I bring it down just a little bit for those who just can't quite see the fathom and how big this is? Your favorite fantasy football team let their star quarterback go, and also the key wide receiver, and also the special teams coach, all gone
while they were walking on the field.
Yes,
for the first game.
So now we have to kind of show you what this means, because they're not seeing what that means. What does that mean? They're gone. I mean, they're supposed to be fired. Okay, let me bring it back to you this way. So now you just seen your star player, your number one receiver, and the special teams coach are all gone, and you ready for your fantasy football draft. Now you talking up all your boys, you calling up all your people. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? I got to start the draft. Yes, it's reshuffling of the deck. The dominoes have been scattered once again, and we have to start over to make sure that the bigger picture, these students are going to get their money's worth and get the best education and be put in the right position for their ultimate success.
That part.
So what we want to see, ladies and gentlemen, is the result, the change, right? My ladies who growing locks right now, this is your new growth stage. It's going to itch for a little bit. It may not be as long.
Stop, Andy. New growth stage.
It's just, but we gotta get to the point where them locks gonna get you about another quarter inch, another half inch, until you are where you want it to be.
Change is good.
So, what do you want to see, Mia? What do you want to see happen at FAMU? I
want to see them not take 20 years to hire somebody.
Okay.
I want to see them hire people who are qualified for the positions. I want to see those people come in and make a difference, that at the end result will make life easier for the students who attend. I want to see operations flow in these spaces. I want to see a healthy work culture. And I'm gonna say it again, until they come and whisper in my ear the reason why it happened. Kudos to the president, man. Kudos. A lot of these other schools need to take on the same stance. And to be honest with you, the kids they're not gonna necessarily feel it on the classroom level. We're talking about senior leadership, so we're talking about deans. We're talking about admin. We're not talking about the people Well, some of those deans might actually teach in the classroom, but the schools aren't going to fall apart. These kids are going back to school. They're going back to school. School is going to open. They're going to have people in those classrooms.
Yeah, real talk.
We're talking about senior leadership, people who are getting paid a whole lot of money and probably doing a quarter of the job.
Mm-hmm.
So, kudos to him.
Kudos to him. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I believe
homegirls.
Who's a famed, what we're going to do? Is anybody familiar with Tyrese Gibson? The actor,
Sweet
the singer?
Lady,
yeah.
Would you be mine? Okay,
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Tyrese Gibson? Did he attend FAMU?
Did he?
I think he did.
I always said Tyrese was a Coca-Cola guy. Did he attend FAMU?
I think he did. Riding that bus to singing Coca-Cola in the back. I think he was on his way to registration.
Man, you stupid. Let me see.
Well, y'all familiar with Tyrese? He's not going to be on the show today, but the thing about it is there is some celebrity status who are going to chime in on this particular topic because now's the time to give back to your alma mater. Now's the time to reach out and say, hey, I see a bit of concern here and I want to give back. So are we saying Tyrese is going to do that? No. What we're saying is there's going to be some people who are now in position to raise their hand, write a check, and make sure that their school doesn't have to go through this repita over again. Like Mia said, you want to see some change and some good positions? Let's start back from the alumni. Let's give that give back in the right position from the right people who can make things happen. I'm all for it.
Let's get it.
That's real.
That's real.
So as we wrap the show up, I want to thank everybody who chimed in and follows us. Continue to give us some class, folks. Click that like and subscribe to this channel. Tell some friends. Tell some family members. If you know somebody that needs a bit of an education, share this link with you folks and know that we're going to come back next week more and again with some more real discussion topics right here on the Real University. It's your main man, Andy Brown, your Uncle Life Coach in the building, and the wonderful Miss Mia Ferguson. When Monday comes, once more and again, happy birthday to you, Queen.
Thank you.
Time to go celebrate. Holler at y'all later. Peace out.
Have a good one. Deuces.